Hi. I already tried filming this and I just did not like the direction it was going. I got a little distracted a couple times. I want to just jump back into it in a more natural way and just bring a little bit different energy because I felt like I was just kind of scatterbrained, not knowing my direction. So hopefully this is better. This is my first time using the ring light, so she's gonna be up today, hanging in my face. Oh, you can see the reflection of it there. Maybe I'll cover it more with my head. There we go. Big head, big head. Okay. I also have my mic clipped onto me today rather than holding it because I know that it carried over into the recording last time when I was touching all over it. So hopefully, it being stationed, it won't be a problem. I can't guarantee I won't bonk it, or I don't know if it moving on me at all is going to do the same thing. So we'll see. But I want to just get into a little female empowerment video, kind of just speaking to the girls who may need a little reminder of their value. And I kind of just want to share my story very briefly, of like what my experience is coming into my self empowerment as a female. Maybe that can be a little bit relatable for some people and maybe inspire you to find some more confidence within yourself, because I think that right now more than ever it's so important to find the confidence within yourself. When we don't have self-esteem, we deteriorate as a society, and so the more of us who are not confident and know our value, the more of us are going to get ourselves in the wrong things, doing things that are not self-serving habits, and maybe digress progression in our life. So anyways, I just kind of want to get into where where my self-esteem has been and how it fluctuates and how it has, ultimately gotten pretty strong as I've grown up. But I think, we can grow up and start life and be surrounded by people that really build us up and make us feel fearless and uh, excited and believe in ourselves, or we can be surrounded by people that don't know how to provide that for us. And I think a lot of us end up with the latter. And I will say that while I do know I was loved by many, I still did not get built up in a way that children need to thrive, to believe in themselves. And so growing up as a little child, I was quite shy. I was not confident by any means. I was scared to try new things. I was scared to like participate in sports or other extracurricular activities. I was scared to make friends. I preferred to, hang out with adults. I did not want to be a kid. And I was just more of a homebody, and I really kind of struggled with social interactions, and I was very anxious. Now, these are things that I have, you know, figured out as I've gotten older, and that's like my own personal journey. But as a child, that was really difficult for me to, do run things that would have helped my development. That would have actually ultimately built my confidence, but I was too scared to actually try it. So because of those things, I was a little bit delayed in finding that within myself. Now, I don't think I was as delayed as some other people may get to be. Some people don't feel confident until they've hit their 40s. So I'm really fortunate that I've found that, in my teens and in my 20s. Like, that's still an amazing thing. But it's still really painful when you're experiencing it as a child and you kind of don't really know how to figure that out, communicate it, find the verbiage for it. So you're just kind of coasting through life. And then in eighth grade, I actually did get a therapist. My mom put me into therapy because she thought it would be good for my self esteem. She thought that my self esteem was quite low, and she was worried that that would make me, susceptible to being taken advantage of. And so I was so, so fortunate to experience like an angel of a therapist who really started helping me understand what I do and don't have to accept in life. And cutting those cords was difficult for me to do because I felt fearful, of not pleasing somebody, not making the adult in my life happy. When in reality, as a child, I should not have to even be concerned of adult emotions, but I felt that pressure. And when I started realizing I could release that, I started understanding I could release that same expectation with other people I encounter in life. And as I've evolved and come into myself and understood myself more and experienced more people coming in and out of my life, I understand where my value is. And that has transferred over to men specifically. I think that a lot of the ways in which we value ourselves is how men see us. And that can be anyone can actually feel their value by men. I think that we've, unfortunately, under this society, put um, the value of a man so high, even though it's really so far from the truth. And I really, really want people to get that into their sweet, sweet heads, okay? I want you to get that out of your head, because he is no more valuable than you or I, okay? And in fact, I beg to differ that you and I, girl, we are more valuable than him. So I want more women specifically to understand that your value in this life is not determined by others' perception of you. And I release that with, men in my life, but, I came into my queerness, and that also eliminated the desire for the male gaze. But that's not to say I haven't experienced the need for that validation at one point. And then when I realized honestly how easy it is and how low their standards are. Not to say I'm a low standard, I'm a high quality woman, but just knowing how easy it is for a man to put himself out there, it's like so silly to me and like so immature, and like how they carry themselves is like frankly just so cringy and embarrassing. So I don't like, I laugh because it actually is just enraging, but like I'm not gonna lie, like when men make a fool of themselves, like it is still kind of funny. Point being, I think in that we need to stop taking men so seriously and start taking ourselves more seriously. Because I think that when you put people on a pedestal, they will take advantage of you and they will lose respect for you, um, because you think that they are of higher value than yourself, when ultimately you are the most important person to you in this life. And I know that that may be a harsh take for some people. I think some people are so conditioned to think that your value is found in other people's value of you, right? Like, who are you to them? Like, but then at the end of the day, you're just taking care of everybody else's needs and never your own. And or you're taking everybody else's needs and then your own, when in reality you just need to taking care of your own and then everybody else's, when you have the time, when you have the energy, when you have the space, the emotional space to give other people. And I think that we need to be more radical in that, because that is ultimately what's going to create more change for our near future ultimately. I know that I've said like pouring into yourself, pouring into your passions is radical in a way of protest. It is a beautiful way to protest. It's a harmless way to protest. It's a very strong way to protest. But like one of those things is also just like understanding yourself, catering to yourself in a way of just like only thinking about what you want. That is like the most instinctual, primal thing you could probably do besides give birth. Is like just do what you want to do. Just do what feels good. Just do what is like nourishing to you and nourishing to your growth. Because like that is like the most radically like feminist thing you can do. Because think about how many of those things wouldn't serve men. I don't know why that makes me laugh. It literally just makes me laugh to like upset men because they need to feel the discomfort so that they can grow as a species, okay? Because the men who accept that, the men who support that, those are the men that you guys should be partnering up with. And if they need to take some time to grow into that, then so be it. But go do that single. You don't need to be putting a woman through you trying to understand that she deserves the same rights as you. So, like, go do your growing. We'll be over here continuing to grow as a species because we've been growing as a species while you guys have been taking like way longer to catch up. Some of us are going to stay gay. More of us will turn out gay. Maybe more of you guys will realize you're gay too. And that's why you hate women so much. Not to say gay men hate women because I think they love women. Son, you don't. My point is, when we all start discovering ourselves, we can be nurturing to each other. We can actually respect one another's needs. We can actually heal. Duh. But I just want to really highlight women getting that because, like, we ultimately have the pussy power. I know that that is like crazy, but like, do you see all these incels? They're so fucking mad. They're so angry. They're so angry because they're not getting the thing that they want so bad, but they're so mean to the person who has it. Why would we want to give it up? So until you learn to be respectful, to be kind, to have human empathy, you will not get a piece of me. Anyways, keep them angry. Don't give it up. Don't like any microaggression, any form of mistreatment is not tolerated. Any misogyny, not tolerated. Any expectation of me to serve you, not tolerated. I think it's so silly to think that we should be serving other people. The only thing we should consider compromising a little for is children. If you want to childbear, if you want to raise a child, anyone who wants to raise a child, yes, you are going to have to be a little bit selfless then. But ultimately, you still have to prioritize yourself for your own sanity, anyways, even if you are going to raise children. So, I mean, I still stand by the fact that we need to be selfish as humans for ourselves so that we can be helpful to humanity, heal ourselves from within, heal our spirits. I just like really think that though, like, because we are so full of life as women, we are so full of life, whether or not we choose to take advantage of our ability to give life, we are so full of it, okay? Because we still have that ability, we still have this like power within us that is truly just so divine. And in whatever way you want to manifest that, whether you're more masculine or feminine, within your womanhood, like, use that to your advantage, like, be powerful within that. Like, what are you going to do with all that power? Because, like, be impactful in the way that like does good to yourself, and ultimately like trickles into like the livelihood of others. We have so much ability to do that, and this is not a way of like serving other people. This is like serving yourself, serving your soul, because I know how powerful we are individually, within the umbrella of women. We are so powerful individually that we have so much to give in a way that is so radically healing. Like, look at how much women help humanity progress in life. Okay, like, look at, like, during wartime, who's the one taking care of the sick and of the injured? Women. Who's the one taking care of HIV patients during the AIDS crisis? Lesbian women. Like, we show up. Who's creating women's rights? Women. Like, we show up. We are more than half the population. We show up. So show up for yourself and show up for humanity, because if you see what's going on every day and you feel not right about it, and you're feeling that like feminine rage, like, harness that feminine rage. Like, do what you need to do for you. Stop pleasing. Like, right now is a time to stop pleasing. Like, you need to please yourself. You need to say fuck it. Like, just do what you want to do. Like, can you imagine the waves of like resistance that would be felt in society if women just stopped doing what we are expected to do? If we just started doing what we want to do? I don't think that people understand the power. And it's because we're constantly underestimated. They don't want to put us in positions of power because they think that we're too emotional. I'll show you emotion. I'll show you my feminine rage, and I'll show you how badly it's gonna fucking hurt you. I will show you. And I encourage you and every other woman you know to do the same fucking thing. What do you want to do? Do it. Piss them off. They don't deserve any ounce of your attention, your affirmation, your validation, any part of your body. Protest with yourself. Show up for yourself. And any of the women who are going to be counterintuitive to the progress of women and our freedom as a whole society, they can go to the wayside, because they only are hurting themselves and those around them. And they're just outnumbered. They are just outnumbered, and we need to understand that we can completely take them out by a landslide of our values, right? If we all start unifying and getting on the same page of taking care of ourselves and being radically selfish in our womanhood, the ripples of impact that'll have on one another is impressive. We can see how powerful it is when you look at straight man media. It caters to them. There's a demographic. They all start feeling a certain type of way. The only way we're going to counteract that nasty, misogynistic media is by standing in our truth of female empowerment, of queer empowerment, POC empowerment. So we need to take care of one another by taking care of ourselves. And I know I've said this time and time again, but like I want that to be heard because it is important and it is relevant. It's actually so relevant right now. Like we can clearly see that disaster is usually at the hands of men. Not to point any fingers, but like take accountability. And also as women on the other hand, like know where in your life you're enabling men. Stop doing it. Stop showing up for them. Stop catching them when they fall. Let them learn. Because all our lives, we're just constantly learning. We're constantly learning how to make everybody else comfortable. Take up fucking space. Take up fucking space. Get pissed off. Start protesting. Start micro protesting. Start empowering yourself and releasing yourself from the patriarchy that's holding you back. Okay? So I hope that is, I don't know what that is. I hope that wasn't too all over the place. I hope that maybe is good enough for somebody today. I hope that is inspiring to somebody today. But that is all I really have to say today. It is a Sunday. I said I was not going to film or post on Sundays. Kind of been what's going on, I think, for the most part. So we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I can make a pattern, even though I didn't post last week. But I am grateful to anyone who listens. I hope that this spoke to you today. I hope that I was able to say something valuable that maybe enraged you in the right ways. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and thank you for listening. Bye.